Alright guys, here we go. So, Jim Miller versus Joe Lauzon. We're going to start in the second round. That's when the grappling starts. If you guys want to watch the whole fight, I recommend you look it up. Great fight, exciting fight. You won't be disappointed. Bloody, so there's that. In the first round, Jim Miller did a great job of keeping Joe Lauzon on his feet. Did a great job of throwing combinations, not just with his hands, but with his feet, elbows, knees. Bloodied up Joe Lauzon pretty good from inside the clinch with elbows standing up. So he's kind of conditioned him to be conditioned Joe Lauzon that is going to be a stand-up fight. One thing too that Miller did was he would push Lauzon towards the cage, and then he would back up to the center, allowing Lauzon to follow him. And he did that constantly, and you'll see that here, and that's gonna set Lauzon up for a double leg. So he's keeping him busy. He's working him over. And he's going to get back to the center. Lauzon will follow, thinking it's going to be another little slugfest. And Lauzon commits, and boom, perfect. Textbook. Lauzon settles for the for the butterfly guard with double underhooks, like Marcelo Garcia style. But Miller, what he does is he steps out with his left leg, and he's like in a lunge position, and he slips his elbows past Lauzon's elbows on the inside. And that's just also because it's really bloody and sweaty, so it makes it extra slippery. But he's got great awareness nonetheless. Both of these guys are black belts. Miller comes from a wrestling background, I believe. Lauzon is your world's baddest IT guy. So he's forced to go into the close guard. And Lauzon is trying to go for a hip bump sweep. And I feel like he's trying to go for like maybe a hip bump sweep triangle combination. And Miller does a great job of keeping his elbows inside. Right inside right here. And keeping his knees moving. And he's trying to keep Lauzon squared down to the ground. So he's trying to keep Lauzon's shoulders squared to his own hips down here. It's very frustrating. So in a way, he's kind of being active with stalling. And once again, Miller has a good position. Look for him to pass with that knee. When Joe Lauzon tries to come up and force it hardcore, Jim Miller does a great job of sensing that Lauzon's knee is out of place, and he goes into this top half guard here. So he kind of forces his top half guard. He's got this shin just to be safe side because this knee is still stuck inside Lauzon's legs. So he still has that foot right there wedged to get a little bit of cushioning on the knee. And he's going to start to turn his shoulder into him, to that shoulder of justice position. Just a lot of shoulder pressure. Lauzon has him into that like lockdown position, but just not quite yet. And right there, so we're going to back up a little bit. So Jim Miller will press down with his shin into Lauzon's thigh and hip right here. That's going to allow him to pop up like in a tripod, drive more pressure, turn Lauzon's face to that side, and he's going to allow to try to get that knee out. However, Lauzon, being a good and excellent grappler that he is, watch how he uses this knee to keep him back into the close guard. Lauzon is going to bring this knee higher than Miller will be able to bring his own knee, and then he's going to point the knee back towards the ceiling, forcing Miller to go back to half guard. Right there. Force it back into the half guard. So then Jim Miller has to adjust, and he's putting a lot of pressure into the side of Joe Lauzon's face, and he's trying to, again, you can see him. He's trying to pop up, trying to get that knee through, but Joe Lauzon is still very, very aware, and he keeps bringing this knee higher than Lauzon's knee, and then he points it up to the ceiling, and it makes a big wall, and it's harder for Jim Miller to bring that knee over. So right here, Lauzon is going to try to set up this weird arm configuration lock to try to bridge and power him over to his right side, but you'll see what happens. It's kind of like in a Kimura grip position. He bumps, But Jim Miller, being the excellent grappler himself, he expends his body away and goes into the mount. Lauzon does a great job of going to the quarter guard, and once again, you can't see it right here, but he does a great job of using his left arm, his elbow, forearm, hand to wedge between Miller's knee and his own body, and it brings his own knee underneath his left elbow. Now it's higher than Miller, and then he's gonna point it to the ceiling to get back into that half guard. You can see right there the knee points to the ceiling, and he just keeps Miller's knee right there. So now he's again stuck like in that quarter guard position. Quarter guard if you're in the bottom, quarter mount if you're on top. Quarter mount is made popular, like by Khabib. He used that to set up a lot of his ground and pound options. But let's back up just a smidge. Oh, where am I? Okay, right here. Okay, watch. So he's gonna do it again. He's gonna wedge this elbow between right here, Miller's knee and Lauzon's own body, and he's going to regain that half guard. That knee's gonna go up and then point to the ceiling. There you go. So now he goes into a deep half guard. However, Jim Miller has 3 points of contact. He's got this hand, this shin, and he's got the overhook, which is resting on top of Lauzon's body. So those 3 points of contact is keeping him balanced, keeping him very secure. The leg that Lauzon has, he's still controlling it, but he's shifting a lot of the weight to his left hip. So it makes it easier for him to control that knee, his own knee. Right there, and you can see right here, perfect example. Shin, the hand down there, maybe a forearm, and the overhook. And you can see this leg spread out, but all his weight is right here. All his balance is right there. Okay, this is just kind of like a dead weight but floating type of limb. Makes it very awkward for Lauzon to get that deep half guard entry into that reversal sweep. But because Lauzon is longer than Miller, he's a little bit more exposed, and so Miller uses that to go into the Darce position. Okay, but Lauzon, being the excellent grappler that he is, he uses that opportunity for himself to power into the knees. So he's going to get up to his knees and tackle. He bridges up, turns over, right there, and tackles. So now he's trying to pass to the left side. Okay. Jim Miller does a great job of trying to keep him postured down. One thing here, though, is you can see that Lauzon did a great job using his head of keeping Miller just very uncomfortable. But I would have wished he would have sidestepped a little bit more instead of using that head. Sidestep, push the knee down like he was going to be doing it here in a little bit. But he should have done that sooner. He just relied too much on that head to make him uncomfortable. Rubbing his head against his face. And that gave Miller the opportunity to go into that close guard. Referee here stops the match. He sees that Lauzon has some tape and gauze that's coming undone from inside the glove. As you can tell, it's very bloody, very sweaty, very exciting. There you go. Jim Miller, once again, this time is very successful with that rubber guard entry. Keeps Lauzon's head pressed down against his chest. Makes it hard for Lauzon to do much damage here. So you see them shifting, and Lauzon is just kind of shifting his weight, trying to feel more comfortable, trying to square up to Lauzon, and that allows him to pick him up like that. He slams, and he starts to step over the leg, but right here, he steps over the leg, and Miller's knee is still in front of this thigh right here. So Lauzon does what you're supposed to do, right? And that's where you use your hand, your forearm, to push the knee down in this angle between your own legs. but that opens up the opportunity for Miller to hold on to the wrist. See that? So when that happens is that Miller is able to recover back into that guard or recover that control with his knee. So Miller, he holds on to Lauzon's wrist and he himself kicks his knee straight, pulls Lauzon's hand towards his chest, and regains the knee back in. You see that? Okay? So it makes it very hard, and it's super annoying. But that's just kind of jiu-jitsu guard recovery right there. He tries to do it again, but this time Lauzon brings his hand up instead. And you can tell he's trying to do it again. He's just not able to do so. Miller is still very aware of what he's doing. So this time he decides to just kind of power him into the side of the wall right there and try to go for a little bit of ground and pound. But the battle is there. The battle of the guard passing, it's there. It makes it very awkward. Now, one thing here that you see is he starts to set him up for that leg lock. Once, right there, once he has this step over, you see he's tripoding up, okay? He puts his shin across Miller's sternum right here. Typically, this knee would be already down here by his ankle if you're going to try to hold him down. But he's going to step this shin up like a knee on belly almost, and he's going to scoop Miller's foot up. And that's because Miller right here has his left shin framing against the hips of Lauzon. So all Lauzon has to do now is kind of do like a squat, lift the foot up, and fall back into like a heel hook. He starts him up with that right there. Tries to go. Miller is pretty aware of it. He does the standard, getting the hell out of there, just kicking out. Lauzon is holding on for dear life to the ankle. You can see that with the left hand. But they're so sweaty and they're so bloody that it makes it very hard for him to get proper grips. Doesn't mean he can't finish it. It just means that it's just that like 10 times more harder. So right here now, they're in a weird position. He's trying to go for the 5-finger or 10-finger guillotine, sometimes called the throat crunch. Again, like a Marcelo Garcia style. Normally it's pretty successful and is very, very tight, but he needs to have his butt in front of Miller's head, and he needs to be driving his own stomach down into the back of Miller's head as he's pulling up. But Miller, again, being the good grappler that he is, he probably senses that, and he shoves his head between Lauzon's legs to relieve some of the stress. And that caused him to just kind of end up in that position. Again, Lauzon doing a great job with those elbows. Hunting for that single leg still, but the round ends. So it's a pretty good exchange. Crowd's going nuts. Again, it's a great fight. You need to watch it, all of it, and you'll have a good time with it. Quick thing, Joe Lauzon came into mainstream MMA when he knocked out Jens Pulver as I think it was an 18-year-old. When Jens Pulver was at the peak of his fighting career. He was unbeatable when he got knocked out by this young guy named Joe Lauzon. Back in the early 2000s. Again, Miller mixing it up, doing a great job of keeping Joe Lauzon guessing what's going to happen. Joe Lauzon staying in there, being tough, durable as he always has been. There's a reason why he's has some of the most UFC performance bonuses, because he's just a gritty fighter, not afraid to mix it in. Man, those leg kicks, especially inside the calf, they hurt so bad. let's talk about a little bit of. Let me pause real quick. The way Joe Lauzon was when he fell down. I missed it. Let me go back here a little bit. When Jim Miller kicks the leg from underneath him, and he falls down to the ground, and Joe Lauzon opts to go into guard mode. Most people will be flat, with their hips flat on the ground, facing the other guy. What Joe Lauzon did, he decides to go to his right side. So what he's trying to do here is trying to bait, right there. He's trying to bait Miller into coming in from this side to his right side, okay? So Lauzon's head is off the ground. He's got his knee up right there. This leg is kind of dangling down. So what he's hoping is that Miller will maybe engage, maybe come a little bit closer, and he's waiting for this leg to get about at this level of his bottom knee. He can use that entry to come up into a single leg. He can use that again to pull half guard into the deep half guard and maybe reverse it like he did earlier, or just kind of trap him in close guard. Bind himself some time to recover his legs. But Miller, being, again, a seasoned grappler himself, he sees that and he keeps his distance. And you can see he doesn't really pass much past this foot right here. He's just kind of kicking him, trying to engage, trying to decide if he's going to do it or not. But he sees that Lauzon is very well aware of the situation, and he's like, nah, I'm good, man. Like I said, Miller's just using the majority of his tools to make it a fight. Joe Lauzon is like 1-1-2, a kick every once in a while, tries to commit heavy with a cross, and Miller sees that and he just fires those inside leg kicks. And you can see Lauzon's knees just wobble. And that's because he's just loading up. Jim Miller is just kind of, I mean, they're hitting hard, but Jim Miller is just more like trying to tag him, just trying to touch him. Every once in a while, he'll touch, and boom, he'll let him have it hard. Whereas Joe Lauzon is just trying to go for the bam, just hard shots every single time. Makes it easy to read in the moment. And having a fight that is at this pace with this much exchanges, it is exhausting. Your lungs are burning. That definitely hurt Miller right there. The little flying knee shin to the ribs. Once again, you can see who just has the better clinch work. More of the tie-up position, tie-up clinching. Joe Lauzon looks like he prefers more of the body clinch, whereas Miller prefers more of the tie-up position. And it goes hand in hand with his ability to throw those elbows and be effective with them. At this point in their fight, like I said, they're both so exhausted. It's all guts right now. It's all guts. They're both each other's punching bags, walking punching bags, and it's just a matter of who is going to break mentally. Physically, they're both pretty beat up. Lauzon more than Miller, but man, it's MMA. Anything can happen. Lauzon could come out of nowhere and just touch him in the chin just right, knock him out, get the right squeeze at the right time and just choke him out. Miller could do the same thing. And again, you can see Lauzon, He's trying to do a flying scissor takedown right there into a leg lock, but it just didn't work. And you can see too that Lauzon, once again, right there, see that motion. That was a nice entry. Good entry. He's trying to work for it. Miller doing a great job of controlling those hands. Just having the hand awareness is crucial to negate a lot of the pressure, but Lauzon is doing a great job of putting his hips down, putting that weight down, and when he brought his hips back up to recover the grip, Lauzon managed to, or Miller managed to get out. So you'll see the hips come up to readjust, and Miller gets out. But once again, he walks into the 10-finger guillotine. This time it's a little bit tighter, but once again, he's aware, and he drops to his side to release a lot of the pressure. And Lauzon, could have transitioned over to other things, but he probably felt that it was pretty tight, so he decided to get it. Because you can finish it from that position, but time ran out. So, great fight. Highly recommend you guys watching it.